Hello. Happy New Year. So how many of you have made New Year's resolutions? How many of you have broken the New Year's resolutions that you made already? How many of you have made New Year's intentions?
Yes.
New Year's intentions, yeah. So I love this microphone. I feel like I'm Madonna. I feel so mobile. Great. Yeah, what do I do with these hands? Oh my gosh. So I like making New Year's intentions because to me resolutions are like you're resolving something that was not right. You know, you're making your resolution, you're resolving something. But to me, it's about intention. So creating something in your life. So if you create a New Year's intention, then you're creating something new in your life, something different. And that's what we're all about. We're all about creating our life, creating our world, creating our reality. And how you create your reality for your life is you set an intention. You set an end result. So a lot can happen between you and your intention, right? And a lot of people get discouraged because maybe they make a New Year's resolution, they're like, I'm going to lose 15 pounds or something like that, and then they don't. But if you set an intention, your intention would be, my intention, for instance, my intention is to be healthy. So my intention is to be healthy. So let's say I have one night of eating amazingly delicious Chinese food. And so maybe I wasn't healthy that one day. But that doesn't mean that I'm not doing my New Year's intention. That just means that that one moment I wasn't eating healthy, but then the next moment I can choose to be healthy. So it's little things every day that add up. So for instance, like if you want to be healthy, maybe you could just pick something that's a behavior that you know isn't the best for you. Maybe you drink sodas every day or something. You could drink 1 glass of water instead of a soda per day. So like all week long, 7 days a week you have a soda, but 1 day a week you choose to have a glass of water instead of soda. You would save about 50,000 calories a year by just choosing to do that. So think about how the little things add up in your life and setting an intention. What is your New Year's intention? And make it easy. Just say one intention. Don't say 15,000 things. It's really kind of complicated, right? Then you're like, oh, I want to just revamp my whole life. But instead, just have a word, a focus, an intention. So my intention, like I said, was to be healthy. And I will make little choices every day to be healthy. A little choice can make a really big difference in the long run. If you were taking a plane from New York to LA, and the pilot went 1 degree off, he would, whenever he started, he was 1 degree off, he would actually end up in Tijuana, Mexico. So it's thousands of miles. So you think about you and your intention this year, and you're starting off, and you just make 1 little degree change. Just 1 little bitty change. And by the end of the year, it's going to have a huge impact in your life. All those things add up. I have a change jar. So it's another good example, like you put change in your change jar, right? And last month I went and took my change jar in because I was going on vacation. And I had $200 in change in my change jar. And it was just like little change. And it adds up. So you think about that. If you want to say an affirmation a day, it adds up. A prayer a day, it adds up. 1 glass of water, it adds up. And just think about in what ways can you create the life of your dreams by doing something tiny, something simple, something easy. This year, we are celebrating the year of yes. We are going to be saying yes to all kinds of things. Our monthly themes are actually what our core values are. When we first started this center in August, there was a group of people, and we went through an exercise where we found out what we all valued together. And those are our core values, and we're going to be exploring them throughout the year. So this month is freedom. And freedom is one of our absolute favorite core values because it's so important to who we are. the word yes. Yes, actually, which is really interesting, it wasn't always around. It wasn't always a word. It actually kind of came into fruition in 900 AD, and it was derived from the word geya, which is kind of like yeah, and see, gay, and that's like yes. Yes. And I know, yes, you say it really fast. And actually, what it meant, the actual root of the word is yea, so be it. And in this organization, we say, and so it is. Because whenever we say an affirmative prayer, so when we do our prayers, we talk about what we believe is the truth about life. And then we say, and so it is, which is just like saying yes, right at the end of our prayers. We just say yes, and so it is. I did some very difficult research for this year. I watched Yes Man, the movie. And I don't know, have you seen the movie, Yes Man? Okay, if you haven't seen it, little spoiler alert, I'm going to tell you the whole story. But it's a great movie. It's starring Jim Carrey. And at the very beginning of the movie, he says, no. Yeah. And everything that comes to him, he says no. You know, his friend calls him up, would you like to go to a party? And he's like, no! And the friend says, I think you were saying no before I even finished asking you, you know? And he said, no, I wasn't. And so he realizes he's unhappy. He hates his life, everything's going downhill, it's miserable, and his best friend talks him to going into this conference, and it's a yes conference. And he makes a covenant at this conference to say yes to everything. To everything. So he walks out of this conference, you know, he's like feeling good, yes, you know, and then this homeless man comes over and says, hey man, can I have a ride? And he's like, yes. So he, you know, gives him a ride to this park, and the homeless man says, hey, do you have a couple dollars that I can borrow? And he's like, yes. And then the homeless guy's like, hey, can I have all your money? And he's like, yes. You know? And he said, can I borrow your phone? And he's like, yes. So he talks on his phone, and then he uses all his battery, and then the homeless guy takes off in the park, not with his phone, he has his phone, but it has no battery. And his car runs out of gas. So there he is in the middle of the night. His car is out of gas, he doesn't have a phone, he doesn't have cash. And so he walks over to the gas station, and lo and behold, this amazing girl is at the gas station where he's filling up his little gas thing. So he meets the girl of his dreams. So if he hadn't gone to this conference and he hadn't said yes to the homeless man and hadn't had his phone run out of battery and his car run out of gas, he would not have met the girl of his dreams. So whenever you're saying yes to things, it makes it weird, you know, it's kind of awkward, it's uncomfortable, but it just might lead you to something that you really want. So this is our year of saying yes. I like saying yes to freedom, because freedom is the state of being free or at liberty, rather than in confinement or under physical restraint. Freedom is also exemption from external control, interference, and regulation. It is basically the power to determine action without restraint. I went to a wedding over the holidays, and I was sitting in the row, and there was this really cute little kid behind me. And the kid says to his mom, he says, oh, why is she wearing white, Mom? And the mom says, well, that's because today is the happiest day of her life, and white is the color of happiness. And then the kid turned to his mom and he said, why is the groom wearing black then? Don't you love kids? They're awesome. So it made me think about how a lot of people think about marriage. They're like, oh wow, you know, I got the old ball and chain, you know, and oh, my bachelor party, it's the last free day of my life. But for me, when I got married to Gina, we decided to make our theme of our marriage freedom. So we decided that instead of feeling like we're restricted or restrained because of our commitment to each other, that instead it would free us to be with each other. And so anytime we felt kind of awkward or anything, we'd revisit this subject of freedom. What does freedom mean to us in our marriage? How can this create more freedom in our life? So I'd like to invite you to think about what ways are you thinking about things that are creating restriction in your life? Some people think about their families or their parents, and they think about how their parents are controlling, or their ex is controlling, or, and all of that is a form of thinking about it. It's just thinking, because if you think your parents control you, your parents don't really control you. You are a free human being. Our nature is free. We are born as free people. We are born with freedom as our birthright. Every human being is. Freedom is a nature of God, and God is everywhere. And God is inside us and around us and through us. And that is our nature, is to be free. So sometimes we create our own, bondages. There's a quote. Oh, well, here's a great quote. It's called the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men, and I say and women, are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that is our truth, that we are given these rights of freedom for who we are. Emma Curtis Hopkins says, "It is human nature to wish to compel others to do as we think they ought to do. It is divine to see that their own way is their true way." So not only how are you creating bondage in your own life and freedom, but how are you creating others to be bonded or freed? So it's their divine nature to be free. It is divine to see that their own way is their own true way. There were so many quotes on freedom. I'm sorry. I'm going to be like a little quote heavy today because it's so awesome. Such a great philosophy. This is kind of a long one, so bear with me. Life is too short to waste any amount of time on wondering what other people think about you. In the first place, if they had better things going on in their lives, they wouldn't have the time to sit and talk about you. What's important is not others' opinions of me, but what's important to me is my own opinion of myself. And that's by C. Joy Bell C. There was once upon a time, there was a beautiful princess. And the beautiful princess lived in this beautiful castle. And she loved this bird. There was a bird that came every morning, and it came to her window, and it sang the most beautiful song. And she was so enamored of the bird that she decided that she wanted the bird with her for the rest of her life. And so she caught the bird and she put it in this golden cage, and she fed it the most amazing bird food ever. And the bird started singing, but its song got weaker and weaker and weaker every day. And the princess asked the bird, "Why are you so sad? I have given you everything. I've given you gold, I've given you food, I've given you love." And the bird said, "But I want to be free." And so she let the bird go, and the bird came back day after day and continued to sing its song. And I just wonder how many of us are trying to capture those things that we love, or the people that we love, and try and make them be a certain way. When really allowing our family, our friends, our loved ones to sing their song in their own unique way is the way that really creates that song and singing. There's a violinist. This is actually a real experiment that was done. in Washington, D.C., in the metro station. And there was a violinist who played, and he played for 45 minutes. He played one of the most complicated pieces ever played. And there was thousands of people, this was in 2007, there was thousands of people who went by in this metro station. And one woman saw the violinist and she put $1 in and she walked on. And then this other guy stopped for just a moment, he looked, and then he just continued on. And then there was this little kid came up to the violinist and just stood there and listened and listened and listened. And then he went on because his mom grabbed him and he continued on. And so at the end of this hour of playing, this violinist had collected $32. And 2 days later, he went and performed to a sold-out theater, the Boston Globe, because he was Joshua Bell. And he was playing on a violin at that time in the metro station worth $3.5 million. The most complicated piece ever written for a violin. And he was giving his music away for free to the people in the metro station. Well, 2 days later, he was getting paid $1,000 a minute for his show. So it just makes me think, how many things are going on in our life where we're just saying no to? This violinist is giving his music for free, right? And because everybody's so focused on where they're going to work that day, thousands of people, they don't recognize or see the beauty that's around them. So I invite you to think about, what is it that maybe you're blocking yourself out from? What can you say yes to? Think about all the opportunities in your day when people come to you or somebody calls you or they want to do something with you. I'd invite you to say yes. As a matter of fact, I have a gift for you so you can say yes. And I'd like my ushers to come forward. I am going to give you your very own yes pass. Yes. My ushers can please hand out the yes pass. So we have for you a gift so you can remember to say yes to freedom. I have 4 affirmations written down, 4 of my favorite freedom affirmations. And we'll be exploring saying yes to freedom all of this month. Where could you put this? Where could you put this? You could put this on your mirror, you could put this in your wallet, just so you can remember to say yes. You could put it in your car, anywhere you want. I am giving you permission. I am giving you the pass to say yes. And here it is. And I invite you to read these affirmations to yourself every day, because there are ways for you to free yourself. Free yourself. Because that's what this life is about, right? I mean, I live the most amazing life. I live the most amazing life, and it's because I have chosen to do affirmations every day. I've chosen to say prayers every day. I've chosen to focus on the positive. I've chosen to do the spontaneous thing. I've chosen all of these things, and of the 12 years it's taken me to do all of these behaviors and habits and change my way of thinking and being, I have created the life of my dreams. And I know that it's possible for you. That's why I'm here. I'm here because I am invested in you living the life of your dreams. I want you to be happy. I want you to be prosperous. I want you to be abundant. And I know that this year is going to be the best year ever. Yes. 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 As a matter of fact, let's say that together. We're going to say, this year is the best year ever. Okay, are you ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3.
This year is the best year ever.
Yes. So it is.
So it is.
Yes. So I'd like to invite you to think about this year. What is your intention? How are you going to free yourself? How are you going to free others? And what are you going to say yes to? Let's pray.